Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a sort of bittersweet review. I say bittersweet because I was like so excited when I saw this product release, like beyond excited. Like I started like deep heaving, no I didn't, but I was beyond excited when I saw this product released. I was just like, this is what I needed and I didn't know I need. But And like, I love the Shape Tape Concealer so much, like you don't understand. It changed my life. I've never met such a product with such full coverage, that blends so easily, that lasts all day. It's just like a magic eraser marker for your face. And it's permanent, honey. And I'm all about it. So when I saw the Tarte Shape Tape Foundation, I was so excited. I was like, it's gonna be amazing, beautiful, full coverage, glam. I don't really know what to expect. I can't imagine like that concealer and foundation form, but I mean, it's gotta be amazing, right? It's Shape Tape. I ordered it, like I'm gonna do this review, and then it came to my attention later between looking at the range myself and people posting about it because they were furious, the terrible, disappointing shade range that this foundation has come in. There's like 2 or 3 shades from women of deep skin colors, and like one of them is really orange, and then there's like 50 shades of beige, as they like to say, and it's just not a very inclusive range, is what I'm saying. And it's really sad to see, especially for a product like this that I was like so excited about. I'm kind of hypocritical in making this video because at the end of the day, I'm still going to review it, I'm still excited, and I'm still going to put it on my face. And I know this doesn't directly affect me because at the end of the day, they have my shade, and they have shades for people with skin like mine. But it still gets, and I was confused at first, because I was like, for some reason, I thought the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer came in more shades, but then I checked again, and it actually doesn't. It has the same situation where there's no colors with deeper skin tones. And maybe with concealer, you can get away with that a little bit more, because a lot of people don't match concealer exactly to their skin, and in fact, they tend to make it some shades lighter. So the fact that there's not like a deep, deep, deep shade of that, maybe that makes sense. But you can't give that sort of leeway for a foundation. You don't have that sort of excuse. You want the foundation to match the skin tone exactly, obviously, and cancel out everything. So it's just an issue of not being inclusive. It's for 2018, and especially after Fenty Beauty's release. Like, you guys, have you ever seen such a beautiful shade range? Like, have you ever walked into Sephora or like looked online and just look at Fenty's Beauty Foundation? I'm gonna put it on the screen right here. Look at it. Just look at that. It's like a rainbow of skin tones. It is absolutely divine. And it really makes me happy to see because it's like, wow, there's really something for everyone. And I barely see that. You don't see that with a lot of foundations, except for maybe like MAC or Makeup Forever. But most brands I find aren't like that. And if they do have like more skin tones, they don't get the undertones right. And it's difficult to do. I understand, but it can be done. It's been done with Fenty. And people make the excuse like, oh, we're catering to the majority of consumers, but I think women of deep skin tones buy more makeup demographically than any other group of people. And that was shown with Fenty Beauty because of how amazingly the darker shades sold. So there's a market for this kind of stuff, obviously. It's not an issue of losing money or losing business, so why aren't people doing that and just being inclusive and catering to all of their people and all of their needs? And it's definitely speaks on a level of institutional racism, for sure. I mean, that just seems like the best viable explanation, considering like it makes sense to put the work to make these shades in despite it being more difficult. And even if it like, does everything gotta be about the money? Like, what kind of capitalistic bullshit? Like, how are you gonna just not include a whole group of people just because it's not economically sound? Like, who does that? Who raised you? I have notes over here because I have a long speech and I just want to make sure I hit the points I want to hit. I'm not just like reading directly from the paper, but I'm also making sure, you know, what gets said gets said. I found out that Tarte does plan to release more of these shades, and they just released it early, I guess because they wanted to start selling. But you could have waited until you have everything, all your shades ready. I think, like, I don't think that's an acceptable range of shades to start an initial release with, and it's kind of almost like saying, oh, we'll get to you guys later. Like, you guys are an afterthought to us, because we just want to start making money. And that's really sad. This is not a new thing, and this is not like news, and other people are talking about this. And me as one person can't do anything to change it, because this is the thing with a lot of brands. I see it. And I'm starting to take more notice of it and start choosing who I support. Like, I've decided to stop supporting It Cosmetics because It Cosmetics has not been inclusive for years in their shade ranges, with no shades, and the shades they do have for deeper skin tones are the wrong undertones entirely, and people keep asking and asking and asking for these shades to be made, and they just haven't happened. And when they do get around to it, it's subpar. I don't vibe with that, so I'm not a fan of that brand. And also the CEO made this whole speech when the cosmetics company got bought out by L'Oreal. She gave a whole speech about inclusivity and how people need to be more inclusive. And she talked about all these groups of people, transgender people, people with skin issues. She didn't talk about women of color, either because she knew that the brand didn't cater to them, or she just didn't care. And I decided I want to do that. I don't want to support this brand anymore. And I think of, like, I mean, a lot of drugstore brands, obviously, like, they've been behind the bandwagon on that for years. Some brand, like Rimmel Cosmetics, last I checked, they don't have anything for anyone deeper than medium. They don't even make foundations for women of color, like deeper skinned women. They don't. They just don't. They don't even bother. And it's like, I know they're a brand in London, but they got black people in London. So, you know, I'm just one person, and I can't do anything. But, you know, I think it's time to start, like, paying attention to that, asking and boycotting definitely those products, if not brands as a whole, until they listen. And I'm being very hypocritical, I know that, because I still bought this foundation. I bought it before I realized, and I'm still going to review it because I'm curious. And I acknowledge that I'm being a hypocrite for being in the speech and then still using this product and supporting this brand. You know, I do love Tarte Cosmetics. I have been like loving a lot of their products recently, and I'm going to give them a chance to clap back. But what they did is messed up, and I don't like it. I almost don't want to review it because I feel bad, because I know people watching this, not everyone watching this can even try it right now. And I feel bad, and it's like, I can say I feel as bad as I want, but I'm still going to do it, and I suck for that, and I'm sorry, but I'm still going to do it. But I realized that what happened was messed up, and I'm sorry. And, you know, I want to work to make a change. I almost kind of hope I don't like it, so I can not use it and maybe slowly stop, maybe not support brands, but at least the products that they're making that aren't inclusive. And maybe, like, you know, we take away their money, they'll start listening. But yeah, that's really all I have to say on that matter. I just felt like I had to say that before I review a product like this with all this controversy. I just wanted to clear the air and make sure we're all on the same page. I don't want people to think that I'm just like selling out or anything. Not that Tarte Cosmetics knows who I am or cares about who I am, so it really doesn't matter. But it's, you know what I think you know what I'm saying. I think you get the gist. So here's the foundation. I've not opened it yet. Completely untouched. I have not yet touched the bottle. They have two formulas, which is nice that they did that right. They have a matte formula and a hydrating formula. I have the matte one here. I have oily skin, so I'm only really going to use matte, maybe sometimes natural foundations. I will never put a hydrating foundation on my face, at least not by itself. I'd mix it with something else maybe, to sort of make another matte foundation less matte. But I got the matte one, so I can't speak on the hydrating one. But that reminds me of something. Another thing I forgot to mention. I saw an Instagrammer, and I forget who, because I didn't get the name, and I just glanced at the photo quickly. But she said that The Tarte foundation was like almost an exact ingredient match for another Tarte foundation she had, and they even applied the same on the skin. So that's kind of shady. I don't remember if that was the matte one or the hydrating one. That's the thing. It could have been the hydrating one and not this one, or it could have been this one. I don't know. I also don't have that foundation, so I can't speak for that for myself. I see a lot of cones, so I think it's a silicone-based foundation. It's just like a basic way to tell. So put it with your silicone-based primers. I think. Don't quote me on that. But from my deduction skills that I have, I can sort of deduct that. It has that same sort of design. Shape Tape Concealer has Double Duty Beauty. How many ounces you get? You get 30 milliliters, 1 fluid ounce. Just looking at like my Fenty Beauty foundation to see. Yeah, the Fenty Beauty foundation has like 32 milliliters and 1.08 fluid ounce. So almost the same. So yeah, it's a good size. So I believe I tried to avoid all other like reviews and videos and people talking about it and pictures talking about it so I can be like as unbiased as possible. But I did notice that it has the same giant doe foot applicator, so it's like the Clinique 2-in-1. That's just what it reminded me of. We're just gonna put it on our face. We'll try it with a brush and then a beauty blender, I guess. I'm gonna do a priming situation that I do to make foundation successful. I take the Becca Evermatte Poreless and I'm gonna put that, a little bit of that, on just areas where it gets super oily. So like right here and here and here. I get a little bit of oil control. I'm not going to work today. I have today off. So I don't have to be super crazy concerned with mattifying my skin. But I'm going out after this. And I will be doing check-ins, by the way. Then I'll take my Smashbox Photo Finish, which makes most of my foundations look amazing. So I'm gonna give this that like on the rest of my face, sort of like in my pore area, so that we just have a nice base to work with. All right, we're gonna apply the foundation because I don't look at my face anymore. I'm gonna put it on my spots. I'm gonna see what the jig is. Texture-wise, it looks a little bit liquidier, which is good. Let's just blend it on the spots and see. This is the Morphe M439. Let's see. Blend it out and see what happens. Okay. Ooh. That looks good. That looks quite good. Didn't completely cover my spot. Let's see if I apply another layer. Let's just blend it on this section of my face. It's going onto the skin nicely. It's not being weird or anything. Definitely is a bit thinner than the concealer, which you would expect because it's a foundation, not a concealer. You don't want foundations to be quite as thick because they're going like all over your face. Whereas concealer goes in like certain spots. So I have a wet, this is a Mikasa Lemon Drop Sponge. You can use my code for 20% off. It's 25% off. I guess I'll just apply it straight to the face because I guess that's what it's meant to do. Normally with a beauty blender or a beauty sponge, I'd pour it on the back of my hand or a metal tin thingy, because I want a metal tin thingy, that's a technical term. A little like plate thing. What are words? What is the English language? It's because I don't try to be more sanitary, but I guess with the applicator, you're sort of meant to just paint it on. Because we all know that some foundations just kind of work better with a brush and some work better with a beauty blender, which is why I'm trying a little bit of both right now. Beauty blender is definitely a little bit smoother as with most foundations. I would say this is a good foundation to use with the sponge because it's full coverage. It seems to be full coverage enough. But it's not too full coverage. It's not cakey, but it's definitely covering me up. Is it a full coverage though? I don't know. Maybe I meant to apply a little bit more. Maybe I'm just going a little light-handed. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply another layer and see what happens. It's so weird though, because I feel like I'm using a concealer. I've never used a foundation with a wand like this before. So it's an interesting experience, might I say. Okay. It's pretty full coverage. It's like medium to full, maybe. It looks nice on the skin. It does look nice on the skin. I like it so far, but we have to see how it wears. It's not in the club yet. It is melding with my skin well. It seems to work well with the primers I like to use, which is good. Like, I see a little bit of redness peeking through, but that's typical. And this is covered pretty good for a foundation. I would say this is closer to full coverage, which is what I would expect because the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer is like the fullest coverage thing of the world. Why don't we just go ahead and use some Shape Tape Concealer and just have the whole fan together to like highlight the face. Is this color good for me? I never mentioned I'm in the shade Light Neutral. Am I light neutral? It seems sort of oxidized a little bit. I probably could have done with a lighter shade. Not oxidized, but dry down. There's a difference. And so it's definitely a type of foundation. It might be better off mixing. Not because the formula is not good, but because of the color. But once I highlight and I have contour on my face, it should be fine. Lately I've been sort of matching myself a little more because I'm trying to be more natural. But before I used to like have my foundation be a bit darker than my skin tone, and I just like highlight and contour, and my face would be more normal. Like right now it looks a little bit better. I should have just went with a brush on my spots though. I do like to do that. I do like a brush. Going in with a sponge doesn't give me the coverage I need on like those particular areas. So that's my face, it's fine. I think I just like to be in denial and pretend I don't have these spots because they need all this special attention. Very annoying. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna powder my face, put on the rest of my makeup, and come back. And we are back. Makeup is on. And the foundation, once I put powder on top of it, it looked even more beautiful. I find most foundations, I had to put powder on top for them to look good. I don't know how people just wear foundation without powder. I don't understand it. I understand like having dry skin, but like, just so it doesn't look right until I set it with powder. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I will be doing check-ins throughout the day to tell you how the foundation wears. I'm gonna go out, get some lunch with a friend, and I'll see you guys later. Hi everyone. Sorry, I'm in a restaurant and there's like a radio in here. This, I think, is just being weird. This has been happening with like all foundations. Ignore that. I'm gonna touch it up, I guess. But the foundation is wearing nicely. Let me get so light. I don't know if you can see, but it's holding up well. It's been at least 4 hours, like 4 to 5 hours. So it's been a good amount of time. And I'm with it. One thing I will say, I don't feel like I have makeup on. It feels really comfortable. Like, you know, sometimes you wear full coverage foundation, you just feel it on your skin. I don't feel this at all. Like, but it's giving me nice coverage. Except for this. But yeah, wow. I'm into it. I'll come back maybe a couple more hours, give you another update. Bye. It has been a good 8 hours of wear. A little bit oily, just a little bit. But pretty good. I mean, I used my Becca Matte primer, and so that definitely helped a little bit. My face feels like it has nothing on it, which is really amazing, because usually like a foundation that would be this, have this much coverage, I would feel on my skin. So I really like that. It's going away a little bit over here, but I've had a hat on all day, so that's why. I kind of am annoyed because I don't want to like this foundation that much because of all the BS that happened, but I really like it, you guys. And I'm sorry to anyone who won't be able to experience it for a while because they don't have their shade. I feel bad. It's not fair. It's messed up. And Tarte, you better get on that ASAP because I think you have something really good here and you need to expose as many people to it as possible. That's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you like what you see. Share it to the world. Share it to the children. And I'll see you next time. Bye.